Since 1949, generations have fought in these shadowlands for the independent state of Kotule, the land without darkness. Myanmar forces, the Tatmadaw, have a forward position just on the other side of the hills surrounding this rebel camp. Despite appearances, the Karen rebels are not that well armed or well funded compared with other ethnic armed groups. Most of their money is thought to derive from gold mining and tin mining and taxes. The Karen rebels have captured Tatmadaw bases. Since the coup, they claim to have killed 200 Myanmar soldiers. The Tatmadaw has taken revenge, bombing Karen civilians, causing tens of thousands to flee. And in this land of vengeance, ethnic Burmans, 2/3 of the population of Myanmar, are also now increasingly joining the fight against their own army, which has turned its guns on its people. We have to be careful to disguise their identities. Their families remain in the heartland. Most will return to wage a guerrilla campaign in the cities. With a tattoo of his detained leader Aung San Suu Kyi on one arm and a map of his beloved, fractured land on the other, this 24-year-old says it's time for armed insurrection. The Karen have welcomed many thousands of protesters seeking refuge and growing numbers seeking revenge.
Many Burmese students, they arrive to our areas and we try to give them protections and training for self-defense so that they will be able to face the problems in the future. It is time for us to work together to help the people, to help Burma to achieve their freedom.
This 20-year-old was shot in the back with a high-velocity round in a protest. Now these Generation Z city kids are learning how to live as outlaws in the jungle. This 21-year-old truck driver saw one of his friends shot dead in a protest. He wanted to introduce his father and younger brother. Together they'd walked for days to get here, evading checkpoints. They'd fled to the jungle after a particularly brutal attack last month. Four months after the coup that shook Myanmar, battle-hardened insurgents are turning that precious youth into a nascent volunteer army. There are now 7,000 civilians undergoing training in Karen territory alone, learning how to fight with their heads and their hearts.